to share with you about my stock account and today's market sentiment. Today, my stock account has been making a loss of $900 today, and today's QQ made a loss of 2.48% to 18.11, and the UNG closed up with a gain of 6.47% to 7.4. The market generally closed higher today except for Apple in the consumer electronics sector. Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 1.16%, Nasdaq Composite closed up 0.61%, and S&P 500 closed up 0.9%. The internet content and information closed up 2.33%, and consumer electronics closed down 1.64%, and insurance closed up 3.31%. Semiconductors closed up 2.34%. We're going to be talking about the Apple stock today and its Q2 earnings report. Apple has made a rare 5 consecutive days decline, and therefore the iPhone 15 listed on September 22nd will be the key to turn the investors' pessimism on Apple stock. The 3 consecutive decline in revenue has shaken investors' faith in Apple, and the stock price is rare 5 consecutive declines, and iPhone 15 unveiled next month will become the key to whether Apple can turn the tide. As of Monday's U.S. stock close, Apple's stock price had fallen for 5 consecutive days, with a cumulative decline of nearly 9%. Apple fell 1.7% overnight, compared with the 1.2% gain from the Dow, making Apple the worst performance in the Dow on the day. The decline intensified after Apple's third quarter's earnings report, which plunged 4.8% on Friday, with its market value falling below $3 trillion, the biggest one-day drop since September 29th and the first time since the beginning of the year that the stock closed below the 50-day moving average. Apple has long been the king of wins in the U.S. stocks, delivering investors with an annualized total return of 29% over the past decade, far exceeding the 12% of the S&P 500 and 11% of the Dow Jones. Why did a single earnings report shake face? Although the company's second quarter's earnings per share beat expectations, the total revenue fell 1.4% year-on-year, the consecutive quarter decline since 2016. All hardware product lines except Mac computers declined, and the iPad revenue plunged 20%. More prominently, in the latest fiscal quarter, Apple was the only company with 2 consecutive quarters of revenue decline compared to its competitors. In the earnings call, Apple's signal was also different, to say optimistic. Apple's executives expect that assuming the overall economic outlook does not get worse, the company's third quarter performance will be similar in the second quarter. In addition, the Apple's high valuation has also made investors intimidate. Apple's current PE ratio for the next 12 months is 28 times, which is higher than the 5-year average PE ratio of 23.2 and one of the lowest PE ratio of 10.8. Apple desperately needed a new blockbuster to prove itself and make investors pay for high valuations, and the upcoming iPhone 15 has high hopes. According to the reports, the iPhone 15 will be available on September 22nd, and the holiday quarter ending December 31st will be an important window to observe demand, and the sales performance of iPhone 15 will largely affect the future trend of Apple's stock price. For Apple, the good news is that due to the supply chain disruptions, the base in the same period last year is slow, but the challenge is that the exchange rate fluctuations in large overseas market may reduce Apple's overseas revenue. In the beginning of the month, the most prospective Apple analysts predict that the demand for iPhone 15 series will be lower than this year's iPhone 14 series. He pointed out that although shipments declined in the fourth quarter of 2022, most of the component shipments plan did not change significantly in the fourth quarter of 2022. unless the demand after the launch of iPhone X is better than market expectations. Otherwise, most suppliers will face growth pressure in the second half of the year because demand for the iPhone 15 is slower than the iPhone 14. That's all I have for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next episode.